pop up in another instance or something, you can whisper me and get an invite in here.
SD and Eris switched channel to dock disciples of Cerberus on the server.
I could outrun a centaur.
What now?
Alright, I'm gonna give people another minute or so to get here before we're full on started, because beginning's pretty key. So I am having Salamander record this for us, and it is streaming in Discord too, so if you aren't in the instance for some reason, you can click on Salamander's live thing in our Discord.
Ooh, did
I
someone
saw
fall?
someone fall. Yeah. No gliding, sorry guys. Alright, I shall ping build here. Here we go. And as far as gear, want your minstrels. Exotic is okay. Don't feel obligated to get all ascended before you come out there. Exotics is totally fine. I highly, highly recommend durability, particularly if you're new to the class, because it's durable. Survival is high with that. Really, with any support class, it works well. You'll see meta battle talk about, you know, Rune of the Monk or Rune of Water, stuff more focused on healing power, which is good too. But the boon duration and the personal survival and the stuff that you get out of the level 6 on durabilities is hard to beat. All right, so Edge of the Mist. If you haven't been here before, we're on the green. Oh no, I'm sorry, we're on the blue team. So I'm not sure if there's going to be anything else for us to fight here or not, but if not, we'll use the new arena. All right, so let's push up here to our little structure castle thing. You cannot mount or glide here, so we'll just move along. All right, so I pinged the build, and what I kind of want to do is kind of go through the traits and the skills so you know what they do, and you're not just randomly casting them on a rotation. So we've got nice champion we can play with up here. So. Alright, so the Guardian's in the squad for what reason? Oh, I'll ping the build again, yeah. There you go. Just random Socratic method question, like somebody tell me why guilds bring a Guardian to the party. Aside from the memes, yes. Stab. Stab and overall support. Not for the heals, though. To have someone to blame when everybody goes down. That is another good reason. So yeah, stab. That is the big reason. Stab not being stabbing with a weapon, but stability. So your initial or best, your big stab, if you will, is stand your ground. I would recommend putting that on a really good hotkey. Same thing with your elite skill. Really good hotkey, whether it's an extra mouse button that you have, or something that you can just mash really quick when you get in trouble. Probably the elite is more important than the stand your ground for a good hotkey, because you get 3 of them. So that's your kind of your main job, if you will. Your role in the group is your stand your ground and your mantra of liberation. That's your thing that you can't forget to do if you're moving, if there's other stuff going on with your books. That is still happening. You still have to keep those 2 rotating. And the mantras do not work how they used to. You don't have to charge them. There's nothing crazy about that anymore. You just press them. So the elite is called the little stab because it doesn't last as long as the big stab from stand your ground. So stand your ground, with boon duration and all that, you know, it's going to be lasting you about 8 seconds. And there's 5 stacks for the stand your ground. For the elite, for the mantra,
Doc Cerberus joined
4
your
seconds.
channel. New learn WvW
So they do pretty much
here
the
on the
same
server.
thing, but the stand your ground lasts way longer. Big stab. The elite way shorter. Baby stab, little stab. They both also give resolution, so that's anti-condition, another good thing. But the elite is a group stun break. So that is huge. If we get CC'd, if we run through something and, you know, we get a mesmer pull or something happens to us where we get knocked over, mash that immediately. Like it's your job, because it is. You need to hit your stab before we get hit to prevent it with stability. But if that runs out, or if we get stripped or whatever, you need to mash that again so that everybody wakes up and is unstunned. So we're going to run up on this guy up here. If I can find the stairs.
Where are you guys?
We are in Edge of the Mist. So if you
I
can
think
whisper
it's
somebody.
go there.
It's not used much, but for training stuff like this, it's about perfect. We can play and not be worried about interruption. So yeah, if you need an invite from somebody to get in the instance, let us know. Alright, so these champions are notorious for having CCs to knock people over. Let's see if they'll knock us over. We have so much passive Aegis and whatnot, he might not be able to. Yeah, I'm seeing block, 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 block. But then again, we have 26 Guardians. But, pretending that you're getting knocked over, practice rotating your stability. There's going to be a lot of overlap because we have so many of us here. So what we're going to have to do is just kill this guy, and then we'll do it separately. So if you need damage, go to book 1. Go to your fire book, and just spam 1. 1. We'll burn. We don't really have much damage though. We are healers, so this will take that. But if you look on your right side, you can see how our boons are doing. We've got 25 might, we've got protection, we've got resolution, we've got swiftness. Alright, let's move up to the ring and capture this, just to have it done. Alright, so that little boon thing that happened where we had super excessive overlapping boons is why things are separated in a party of 5 in squads. So what we need to do is actually physically get distance from everybody else, because our boons are pretty short ranged. So kind of step off a bit and practice using your stability, like see how long it lasts, and watch the little white thing run out as it's slowly like going around, and then like go ahead.
For sustainability, I missed it because I was in the wrong channel.
You're good. No, I haven't even gotten to it, so you're good.
Okay.
So basically, I'm going through it a little bit different as far as teaching a rotation. Right now, it's just stab. So your elite skill, your quote unquote little stab, your baby stab, is kind of the first thing in your rotation all the time, every day, all day. So you're keeping an eye on that stability. And if people don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. I love questions. That's what this is for. So if you don't know what stability is, look over the motorcycles. Look over the right side of your skill bar, like where your, not your weapon skills, but your other stuff. So you see the orange stuff up there. That's where you'll see Aegis. That's where you'll see stability. All those little orange things that pop up there are the boons. So the one for stability looks like a little castle thing, like a wall iron bar icon, I guess. So after you hit your stability, look for that and mouse over it. You'll see it's lasting, 3 seconds. It's going down, going down. You hit your stability again. It's going down, going down, going down. That's your biggest job. Nobody tells you that. That's your biggest job. It's not some magic rotation. That is your job. You need to learn to rotate your elite and your stand your ground so that stays up. And you have to do that preventatively before the fight starts so that we don't get yanked off a wall or something terrible. So that is just the first most simple thing. But I have to tell people that first, because you have to be doing that while you're doing everything else. Your stability job is bigger than everything else you need to do. So if you can't go over and res somebody because you need to be given stability to the group, focus on giving stability to the group. Don't get yourself killed because you're trying to res somebody that's squirreled off and, neglect giving stability to the group because they need you more. Don't squirrel off and try to pull some random person when you're the commander's source of stability, because you're gonna cause more problems if you're not where you need to be. And yes, somebody didn't mention the cone as far as these things. These things are not big range, and you can even kind of pick someone and click on them and then walk up to them and do your stability and see, okay, they got my stability. But if you're a little further away and you try it, no stability. Like the radius is really small. 180 is not very far in game distance. And that's why it's such a big thing to stay on tag, to stay really, really tight to tag. So yeah, these mantras are in front and around you. So there's kind of a misconception that they're only in front of you, but it is a radius around you. So don't feel like you necessarily have to be behind people, kind of like some other skills. So yeah, so stability, we got that down. I'm not going to harp on that anymore. Stability is covered through those 2 skills. You have some other stuff, but those are the main 2. So we're going to keep moving as we're talking here, since we're now aware of how the boons work. We're aware of how stability works. Keep moving on. All right, so you are now comfortable with the fact that you have to prevent damage by putting on stability. You're preventing the group from getting knocked over, aka getting CC'd, crowd controlled, stunned. That's you're preventing that. That is your job. Now, your other job is the other boons, which are basically your other mantras. So this is the other thing that's weird about the many things that are weird about Guardian. Your heal skill is a mantra that gives protection. So that has less of a self-heal purpose and more of a give protection allies purpose. So as pushing in, you can hit that heal skill, not so much because you need a heal, but because you want to protect your group. Think prevention, think blocks more than just raw healing. Raw healing is more like a Ellie, but you have a lot more you can do with boons and prevention. All right, so you've got protection there. You've got your mantra of lore, which is your Condi clear, and that also removes boons. Or I'm sorry, it's a Condi clear, but it also has regen. So those three are kind of just keep happening. If you want to talk about a rotation, those are your rotation. You're just doing your mantras kind of over and over and over, maintaining that stability, keeping Condis off, keeping protection up.
I could outrun a centaur.
Now, here we have a more like fight scenario here. We got a bridge, we got a pretend enemy over there, that rock dog. So our base rotation of getting our boons up, we've already got that in the back of our mind. So as soon as we think that they can hit us, we're going to be hitting that stability to start that going. But for a fight rotation, aside from knowing you have to have that stability early, because they can pull you before you think they can pull you, your next stuff is staff. You're starting with staff. You're going with your staff 4. That empower, the good old traditional bump, 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 got all your might stacks up. Now, a word of caution with that one. It does freeze you in place. Don't not follow tag because you're trying to get that finished. Not that important. If you have a second to empower while you're stealthing or, you're stacked, even if the tag doesn't call for it, it's not going to be a problem. Get that might in there. But if you got to move. Just cancel the skill and go. Now, other pre-fight stuff. And this one is going to vary by guild. I don't want to step on anyone's toes with this one, but the swiftness field, the 3, the one that everybody's dropping right now. So go ahead and drop that one. Drop that one on your feet. Swiftness, swiftness, swiftness. So it pulses. More and more swiftness the longer you stand in them. So we're just getting swiftness for days right now. If you look at your swiftness, it's pretty long. And it's going to go cycle through from everybody that gave it to you. The thing is, we don't necessarily always need that much. And if we do it too early, it's going to be gone before we even get to the fight. And these are fields. And if nobody's ever told you about fields, I'm going to tell you about fields. So these are, if you highlight over the symbol of swiftness at the bottom there, it's got combo field, light. So there's a combo that triggers from this field if it's hit with a blast. So one of the cool things you can do as Guardian is the 2-3 combo. So you can put out a field and then blast it with the 2. So put down the 3, you put down the 2 immediately, and it should pop up and say area Condi cleanse if you do it fast enough. So practice that a second. 2-3 or 3-2. I'm sorry. Let me put down the build one more time. There you go. So that's free Condi clears. Nobody does this. I swear to God, nobody does this. And it's free heals. There's heals from the 2. There's a blast that does Condi clears. There's a little bit of damage from the 3 from the field itself. That's actually a decent use for the 3. Like if there is a down, if there's an enemy down and all of our Guardians put that 3 on the down, they're not going to make it. They can't out heal that. They can't out res that. It's not a lot of damage, but a little bit of damage from 5 people adds up. If the music is a bit much, you can mute or turn down Groovy in Discord here. If you're in TeamSpeak, I'm sorry you're missing out. Yeah, so that 2-3 combo that's just you. So that is a light field, so it blasts for Condi clear. Now, what I'm going to do is put down a fire field here and blast it. Same thing with your staff 2. Staff 2. Boop. Might. So fields that you put down can be blasted by other people. You can blast fields that other people put down. But we have to do it smart. So if there's conflicting type of fields, we're not going to get the effect we want. In this case, if commander's like, okay, I need might, fire fields, everybody blast. Everybody's trying to get might. If somebody drops a staff field, screws it all up, we don't get might. So that is a big one that Guardians cause problems without intending to sometimes, because it will also screw up your stealth. So I don't have a smoke field here because we're all Guardians, but pretending we did, then it would just be a circle like this. You know what the stealth gyro looks for the NGs, that bubble. You blast it with your staff 2 just the same. But if you screw up and put a staff 3 in there, people can't blast their stealth. Now your guild may not really use NGs, they may not stealth, it may not be a thing for them, but just something to think about if you're running with a random tag and they're trying to stealth, just hold off on the fields for a second. Alright, so that being said, you know about fields now, you know about blasting. You're always going to be blasting stealth with that staff 2. The other staff thing you have that's really good, if you hear a call for a CC or a line, that's staff 5. Yeah, get them all out there. As far as you can put them, staff 5, put them out there. So if that happens in a real fight, the enemies cannot go through that. It will remove all their stability and they're going to get stuck right in the middle. And then we put all our damage on it and they die. So line CCs, that is a quick reaction thing, and it requires you to be ready. So you need to be starting the fight in staff, so you have that ready to go. Now, beyond that, the fight would normally change to, depending on the situation, if your commander is calling for a push, if you're going through, you're looking at swapping to your shield mace, which is your tankier set. The other option is your book 3, which is your other tanky boon option. So at that point, those are your 2 things. When the combat is on, and you might hear a call for book 3, you might hear a call for reflex, and then you have to go to book 3. But if that's not really happening and the fight isn't really starting, you're thinking more with your staff shield. The book 3 is really high value, so you have to save it for a really high time, really important time. Shield axe is okay. Yes, the axe on Guardian is a great pull. Particularly if you're playing a more offensive version, more burns. Yeah, the pull is really nice on axe. But generally, for average Healbrand, you're going to get more blocks and more boons out of mace. So generally, mace is more preferred. Tagging on axe is nice though. Okay, so side that is not directly Guardian related, but is key for all healing classes. If all you guys could go to your game menu and your options, there's a couple settings they threw in here a few years ago that were not in here at launch that are just game changer. So that first set of options, the checkboxes there on the top tab, the general options, you've got thick party health bars, thick squad health bars, always show party health bars, always show squad health bars. Towards the bottom of that first set of check bars. Definitely check those 4. at least for your Guardian. If it messes up your eyes for playing DPS, I don't know why it would, but for support, you really, really, really need to be aware of your group. So if you look at our group now, you're going to see gigantic green things, so you can see if people need health or if they're fine. If they're fine, you don't need to heal them. Don't waste stuff. Now I'm going to give you a couple more settings just from my preference. They're not specifically related, but in that options a little bit further down, in that top tab under the camera options, I rotation speed all the way to the right, vertical position all the way to the right, and biggest thing, the field of view all the way to the right. You got to see stuff if you're trying to heal. Really, just the whole game. Put your field of view all the way to the right. Play all the way zoomed out. Don't hyper focus on the commander. Don't really even pay that much attention to the enemy. That's not your job per se. Pay more attention to your group. Party and squad, yeah. Just a bit further down for combat movement, there's ground targeting. I like fast with range indicator. And I also like lock ground target at maximum skill range in that next set of checkboxes. But yeah, that's just an aside. Those I find help me to cast quicker. I do it then. I definitely would say never click skills if you can at all avoid it. Use buttons. But with the fast range indicator bit, you can just put your 3 out there, release the key. Like put your mouse cursor out, press and release 3 or 2. It takes a little getting used to, but it's less clicks and it's quick. So that's in the top, under options, it's the top tab, general options. And you scroll down to combat movement towards the bottom. It's ground targeting. The drop down, you change it to fast with range indicator. And also I like lock ground target at maximum skill range just so you see how far it can go. Instant is okay, but I like to be able to see what I'm hitting. That's why I like the range indicator, because it gives you that green circle. Like if you press and hold the key, you can just move your mouse around and see where your green thing is going to hit, and then you just release the key. Boop. So much faster. I can't tell you. Like, if you're casting stuff and pressing it 3 times, and I'm just pressing and holding a key, I can tell you my reaction time is going to be faster enough over the course of the fight. I will win. But that is really not exactly related to Guardian. I think a lot of people don't know that, and I think it helps a lot specifically for getting some of these heal skills. So back to our rotation. We've empowered. We can throw out 2, 3 out there if, you know, if little damage. Settings for ground target. Well, I think Salamander is streaming it and showing it. That's right. We are recording a video of this, so we will have all that stuff saved to kind of have you guys look at later if you want. I'll put that out to your guild leaders. Hello. Okay, now let me give you the other thing to go along with that. So this is specific to being in a squad. If you press P for your party window and uncheck that box where it says view as grid. So that's going to change your squad UI to be more like a party. And you can actually see what matters now. You can see your party's health bar. You can see if they have boons, if they have conditions. So you can do your job better. If your squad's divided up into parties of 5, you're only going to see your 5 people. But that's who you're trying to protect anyway. So if you're doing support, unchecking that box helps a lot. Unless you're actively engaged in, you know, sorting the squad or something. Okay, so UI stuff should be set, and hopefully that helps you guys out. All right, so rotation-wise, we hit our stability, we hit our pre-fight empower, our 2-3 combo, our blast, our line. So now we're talking about just a push. So switching to shield mace. You're switching to shield mace. You're running shield of energy, and this trait here, let me find it, where is it? Selfless Daring is a passive of honor. So just by dodging, you're healing people. And you should also be using Sigil of Energy on each weapon set, which, when you swap weapons, recharges your dodges. On top of that, you have Aegis just coming out of you automatically all the time because you are a Guardian. So you can kind of count on blocking the first hit, and you have a dodge roll where you can dodge aggressively forward and heal people when they land there. So you have so much built-in tankiness and blocking that you need to be confident just going. If the commander says go, just go. And you're going to automatically block stuff, dodge aggressively through damage, and then when you land, you're going to heal people. Beyond that, you have your Shield 5, which is super good blocks against enemy pew-pew. Rangers do not like. So Shield 5 and push. We're just going to cover everybody with a Shield 5 and push across the bridge. Just figure out how long it lasts, where it goes, and you can kind of cover your group really well. If somebody's getting picked off by a ranger, throw that up and kind of just lag back and cover them a bit. It has a second tap. So if you press it a second time, there's also a heal. The block is probably more valuable, but you can get a heal out of it too if you press it a second time at the end. Alright, so you've used that for a block, and at that point you probably have another dodge roll, so you can dodge roll and heal people again. And your Mace 3 and your Shield 4 are kind of similar use, which is blocking and protecting, protection Aegis. So you want to try to not use those at the same time. You know, you'd use Shield of Judgment, so now you can see we've got protection, we've got Aegis. Okay, protection's wearing out. Okay, now it's time for Mace 3. I'm going to put down a ram and just hope you guys brought supply. Yes, good mention with the CC. So that Shield 5 is a great boop, like a knockback. So if enemies are trying to res and you pop that, they will get knocked back. If enemies are on a bridge and you pop that, they will fall off the bridge. Just a note of caution, though. If you have all of your allies trying to cast a bomb and putting down everything, and you randomly do your Shield 5 and knock the enemy out of the bomb, that's bad. So use it when it needs to be used, not just because you like seeing people fly around. And there is some heal with the auto attack on Mace. The 2 has some regen and some damage, but it's very slow cast. So I generally stay off the Mace 2 unless you have some time. And at that point, once you've ran through Shield Mace, depending on the situation and depending on your guild, you'd go to Book 3 first, or you'd go to Shield first. Depending on how serious the situation is, I guess. With Book 3 being more important. So we'll go ahead and go to Book 3 while we're busting the gate here. Which is your F3 there, high value. So just pressing it, you get boons. You get a bunch of stability, protection, Aegis, just for going into Book 3. So that's another reason why it's a key thing to pick when you're going into it. If you're going in just before a push, great. You're casting your Book 3, you get all the boons, you're good. If you cast it 3 years early, and then you don't have that, it's not as much the initial boons that your group needs for the engage. It's the 5-4-3. Most of the books have kind of a 5-4-3 thing going on. So your 5 is those same boons we're talking about. That's always your job: protection, stab, Aegis. So you can keep your stab going with that when you're going in there once the initials wore off. Your 4 is huge. I can't say again how big this skill is. The chapter 4, the stalwart stand. There is a lot of Condi in this game, and anything we can do to reduce it is huge. So the resistance we get out of this used to be a bigger deal because it would stop Condi damage. Now it stops non-damaging conditions. So stuff that impairs your movement, basically. Crippling, immobilize, all that stuff is ineffective when we have this up. So if they're trying to CC us with a bunch of stuff and our Guardians are on their game and get this field down, we're good. We can chill for a moment. We don't have to worry about those Condis. Gives us time to clear them, gives us time to do damage. So keeping that going is key. And another thing that goes with it is the Reflect, the 3. So that bubble doesn't just block like your shield does, but it sends damage back to its source. So if you can get that up right on a Ranger, right up on a Revenant, or in their path between us and them, their shots go back at them, their projectiles specifically. So that's really big. It works really well against burn guards. Burn guards can blow themselves up if you get it on them. Golems, the same thing. Golems fire projectile shots. You put a reflect on a gate, they will kill themselves. So those two is just a good way for us to bunker down and not take damage while we're trying to regroup or whatever we're needing to do. Just not taking damage. And also your one skill gives stability, so there's that too. If you're out of everything else, you can just press 1 and get stability for book 3. There is a taunt in the 2 skill that can be kind of useful for breaking a CC bar or whatnot, and the resolution is good too. Resolution is key. Pushing in here. All right, so we're going to practice it here. Stack up and empower. And we're going to switch to shield. Push in now. Stability up. Stab up. We're going to dodge roll to the Lord. Aggressive. Dodge roll towards him. Drop some shield maze. Keep that stability up. Stability is maintained. Keep the other boons up. Remove Condis if we get burning. These guys can't really hurt us in this case. We're going to have to try some other stuff to really heal properly. But yeah, we need damage, so go ahead and go to book 1 and just 1-1-1 to the face. If you're full pushing, book 1 is kind of the only time you're going to be doing. Aside from the pull skill, the 3 in book 1, don't really mess with it. Other people are equipped to do damage. You are not. You don't have damage stats, so just stick to book 3 and book 2 and leave book 1 for when they're all dead and you just need your bags. Alright, so we've talked about book 2. No, we've talked about book 3. So book 3 is our prevention. Book 3 is our boons. Needs to come first. Book 2 is our heal book, our water. Our oh crap book, if you will. So in my mind, if things go well and you do your shield and you do your book 3 right, and the damage does the damage, you may not need book 2. if your group has excess of guardians, if you're running double or triple guardian per party, you might establish between yourselves, oh, I'm going to start book 3, oh, I'm going to start book 2, and that can kind of, you don't overlap as much. But even still, if you're designated to start book 2, don't press it early if you're not taking damage. You now can see your party's health bars, and you don't need to be wasting all your buttons unless you take damage. So focus on your weapon skills, preventing damage before getting into book 2 all the time. This thing might damage us enough to heal. We're just going to stand on these red things, get beat up a bit.
Time to do some real damage.
It'll knock us over at least, that's something. We'll spread out a bit. Oh, we got some guards and stuff. So yeah, try not to kill them. We want them to kill us. Let me aggro some of these beasts and things. So yeah, go ahead and get your book 2 open. And same thing, there are some initial boons you get from opening it, but... So your 5 is a boost for your other stuff. The 5 has a 20% heal effectiveness boost. So you want to get that hit as soon as possible so it boosts all your other heals. So you're getting that 5 out. And where it goes from there kind of depends. Like the 4 is this water field that everybody can blast, which is really good if we're, say, in a tight choke or if we're stacked up or whatever. If you're on the move, though, it's not going to do a lot for you. So you also have your 2 and your 3, 2 being a good condi clear. But for the oh crap moment, we just got smashed. You can spam 1. Just the same idea as spamming 1 in book 3 gives stability. Spamming 1 in book 2 just pumps out heals. Like as far as like a quick spike heal, that's staff 2 or just spamming 1 in book 2 is going to be your quickest heal somebody up to full. Alright, let me get a ram down here, and let's do 2. And yeah, we got some fire. Let's build these. Alright, so I've talked about pretty much everything that Guardian has skill-wise, except for the 1 utility skill, which I have as Hollowed Ground. And that's kind of the optional slot. Like, your group may need more Condi Clear, so you'd put in Purging Flames. Your group may need more offense, so you'd put in the Mantra of Potence. But for me, generally, it's going to be the stability we need the most. So I tend to go with Hollowed Ground for just a big bunch of stability that I can throw on a bridge or something, or a big fight. Wall of Reflect might be another one that would be good in there if we're getting a lot of, rangers hitting us from all sides. Alright, so that is kind of the basics of Healbrand. The rest of it is just practice and timing. Really, it's kind of more complicated once you figure out when to do what. Like, it's not quite such a simple rotation as NG, say, or Ellie, or a lot of them, really, because it is kind of preventative and not always the same. Mainly talking about your books as far as book 3 and as far as your But what questions do you have? I know I've not really had any questions. And yeah, definitely type questions by all means. That's fine. You don't have to talk up. Okay, so pulls. Yes. So pulls are primarily the job of the Mesmer because they have the longest range pull. They have a focus skill that they put out, and it pulls basically at 1200 range. So a good pull is that, and then the Guardians get F1 and do Seal 3 on top of it. So that is a complete good double pull. It takes you a second to get into book 1 and to cast it. That's kind of the catch. So you have to be ready, and everybody has to do it at the same time, or else the enemy tends to move out of the way. You do have a pull as well on Axe. The Axe 3 is nice. But yeah, go into book 1 and practice that pull. That 3 skill is kind of not that long of a range, but you can pull up on top of walls. You're not going to really pull them off, you're just going to pull them towards together and towards the edge. It kind of yanks them towards the middle of that circle that you're putting down. Another one that can be good to cast if you just happen to be in book 1 is the 5 skill, because that'll boost your team's burning damage. And you have that fire field on 4, which you could blast if you felt like it. The diamonds are pages, quote unquote, so that's how many times you get to use it before that book runs out. And if your traits are set right, you should have 8 pages.
What about when the commander when the commander says a buff?
You cut out a little bit. You said like when a commander says a bomb?
To buff up. What?
Buff up, okay. So buff up would be kind of the same thing as applying all the boons you can think of. So buff up is generally referring to empower. You're getting all your might up for the group. You're blasting fire if there's a fire field to... Like people that have fire, that should be the trigger for them to put down a fire field. You can blast it with your staff. For you, it's your empower. Other skills might have some other stuff that'll pump out some might. And your empower lasts pretty long. Your stab, not quite as much. So that'd be the other buffs that they're talking about. You get your might, you get your stability, your protection, and your Aegis. Yeah, I generally think might is what they're talking about. That seems like most sense. Your staff 1 is actually some damage. You can like kill cannons and stuff with staff 1 if you have some time. One trait I have here that's off meta is in the honor trait. I'm putting in Protective Reviver. The standard one is the top, the Invigorated Bulwark. Invigorated Bulwark does give you more mace usage as well as potential healing, but people always go down. There's always going to need somebody that needs rezzed, and the ability to do a bit better job rezzing and have that bubble pop up is pretty nice. Because that's another interrupt. It looks just like this, so you basically get another one of these shields when you res someone. And yeah, that stuff is pretty key. Like you've always been, we've all been in those matchups where there's just 7 rangers on every side and a thief and some on the other side. If you can be aware of where they're at and use your reflex and your shields properly, they can't do anything to us at all. We can ignore them. Alright, I'm going to build some siege on this one, and I guess we have a little supply left somehow.
I don't have enough energy.
Okay, any other Firebrand, Healbrand question? I didn't mention food, but as far as food, you want to pick up rice balls, like anything with healing effectiveness, boon duration. There's some cheaper stuff out there. Same thing with the oil. Okay, somebody asked me a question, which is, yes, it's a very good question, and people often are not sure about this. So, should you always be in a book, or between books and normal weapon? You should be between books and normal weapons. The weapon skills are really, really, really neglected, I think, on new Guardians, and they feel like they have to be in a book the whole fight. No. You jump in your book, you use everything, you get out of that book. There's more stuff to do. Like if it's kind of a standoff and, you know, we're going back and forth and nothing's happening, you might sit in book 3 a little while and put out a reflector here and there. But no, really, like in a real fight, book 3, 5-4-3, 5-4-3, done. Go on to something else. If it's book 2 because we're getting beat up, it's book 2. If it's shield because we need to block, it's shield. Switch to staff, throw out a line, do a 2-3 blast on somebody. And you can get in an empower in the middle of fight. That's totally an option. It's a heal as well as more might for the group. So if you don't have anything else to cast and we're, you know, just chilling a moment, get an empower in. Get everybody's might up, top off their health. So yeah, no, use your weapon skills a lot. Don't feel like you need to just sit in book 2 or 3. The weapon skills are very, very important. There's some stuff from the Provisioner, somebody mentioned. Yeah, you can get different oils and stuff from the World vs. World badges. Alright, let me get these one at a time. So, when you gauge what stab should you use first, and you cover up skills after those stab skills, considering enemy strips. Thank you for saying strips, because I haven't talked about strips at all. So, there's this unfortunate pressure that's put on Guardians, where people think you can just press stand your ground once, and then they have stability forever, and they're good. But, Necros exist on the enemy team. So even if you do your job right, and you put on stability, if they put down a well of corruption or something, that stability goes away. So, on the push, you're trying to push your most valuable stability, which is stand your ground. Your elite is your baby, your little stab, so you're pressing that pre-fight, and then you're pressing it to maintain throughout. So, like, pretending... This is a good example. So that Lord up there is too far for me to hit with my staff. Like, I can put my staff out here, so I know he can't hit me either. So I'm fairly safe up to here. But once we're up to here, or if they look like they might stealth, I gotta start with stability. So here I'm thinking about stability. So I'm hitting my little stability. Now about here, they're talking about pushing. I'm hitting my stand your ground. Stand your ground. I'm going shield. I'm going hardcore, getting all my protection up. Boom, boom. Book 3. I'm going to get some shields out. Continuing to move around. And, alright, people are taking damage. Dodge roll off. Dodge roll off. Get some book 1 over here. Heal up, heal up, heal up. Book 1. Do all the book 1. Full heal. Now we're back to damage. Dodge roll on to Lord. Go book 1. Just burn, burn, burn. Oh, we're in trouble again. Switch off Lord. Go to your staff. Do a 2-3 on us. Do an empower. Still keeping your mantras going though. Gotta keep that stability. All right, now we're all going to dodge roll left around the Lord. Around, around, around. We think he's got a lot of damage. He's got bubbles. We're going to wait, going to wait, going to wait. Now we're going to shield again. Pushing in with shield. Shield up. And we're hitting him with everything. You don't often have a fight where you can use your books twice, and that's what makes them kind of valuable. Like, it's got to be a long fight for them to totally recharge. So maintaining that book 2 for a really clutch moment is pretty key, but you can keep rotating them, especially with your weapon skill. All right, I think I missed another question. Weighty terms versus legendary lore. Oh, we're having trouble. I'm not paying attention. Heal, heal, heal. Thank you. All right, good. We got to do our job now. 2 time. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Good. Let's get an empower and let's get our might up so we can actually kill this thing. So empower. Go book 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Burn his face. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now we're hurting again. Go to book 3. He's got conditions, so we're not clearing conditions very well, and that's part of our slack. So in book 3, we're going to get that 4 out to reduce condition pressure. And I'm glad that happened, because the Condi clears don't come very easily, and that's part of why NG is so strong. You're not great at clearing conditions. You have to periodically hit Mantra of Lore to take those conditions off, and kind of train yourself to look at the bar to see if we're getting conditions. Because this guy's just burning us, like burning and healing us is what he's getting us with. So if you don't have an NG, you may need to take it upon yourself to use Purging Flames, because NG's job is to get rid of conditions. Not so much your job, but if you don't have NGs or Tempest, then yeah, you got to double up on condition removal. You probably need Purging Flames, and you're going to have to do 2, 3 all the time for your staff. And you can do just random useless dodges in here to heal people, because it's a free bonus. Alright, so weighty terms versus legendary lore. Yes, so... Holy crap, I just disconnected. Am I still
Yeah,
on?
I did.
crashed.
Same here.
We all
Yeah,
DC.
I think I did too. Everybody
That
did.
was
We-
weird.
Okay.
We all crashed.
Got the
Too
Lord
many
down, tried to cap,
Firebrands.
and good night.
We broke it with too many Firebrands, yeah.
Too much
Yeah.
healing. Death by
Yes.
the Firebrands.
I think our comms were still okay, so that was just the game, yeah. Yes, as far as those 2 traits, that's the second trait in Firebrand. I like top because Mantra recharge reduction. Bottom really only gives you protection. So I prefer top for the Mantra reduction, the Mantra recharge reduction, because most of what you're doing is mantras. Your stab out of your lead is mantras. So if that recharges faster, more stab. I'm going to load back in and just see if we got any more questions there. But yeah,
It's
that's
not available.
okay. That's good timing. That was really the end of it. I just wanted to get to that last question, and I really appreciate you guys coming out. Like I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I know a lot of people struggle with Guardian, and a lot of guilds need more Guardians. So hopefully this helps you guys out. All right.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, if you guys see us running out there, you're welcome to join. We tend to do guild runs on Mondays, but the rest of the time it's open. And if you have any questions on Guardian or anything, feel free to let me know. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you guys coming out, and I will see you later.
Yep, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Narjan left your channel and
Thank
switched
you.
to Doc Disciples